And your name's even rhyme. Your name is Scooby-Doo. His name is Ray Goosby. It's great. Oh, sorry. Wait. Sorry. I was talking to Scooby-Doo. I bring him out. I thought today would be kind of apropos, in light of our guests and everything. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. Michael John here of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories. I'm your co-ghost host, along with the man next to me there. He, of course, is. If you don't know already, let me tell you. He's the man of the hour, the man of the power, too sweet to be sour. Dale, hi, Spirit, Quigley. Together we are the voice of the paranormal, the voice for the paranormal, Windsor, Ontario's own, the paranormal voice. I'm going to tell you, Dale, I was sitting around earlier today. I was having coffee with my demons, like I like to do. You know, I put out shots, the good old apple cider vinegar. That gets everybody charging and running and doing their thing. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I'm excited about our guest tonight. He's running a little bit late, stuck in traffic. Life happens, and that's okay. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about a few things that we got going on. Dale, first and foremost, we got our YouTube going on. We got our Facebook going on. We're on Instagram. We're on any type of social. Well, what's the other one? Instagram. What's the one with the X? What's that? Telegram? What's that?
That is Twitter, or it actually is called X now. People are just referring it to as X, but formerly known as Twitter.
Okay. We're on there. So we're hitting all the avenues here, so that's good. We're getting out, showing up. Hashtag show up, as Reverend Shaw likes to say, and that's how you do it, folks. Show up, get her done.
Absolutely.
Well, we're doing it, and that's my point here. We're doing it, Dale. So we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, doing our live right now. This will be shown you're going to hear us. This will be a pre-record Saturday night, 1 a.m. Eastern Time. It's the window time on KGRA Digital. Dale, tell everybody out there about KGRA Digital. Now, hashtag Gus, thanks for grateful and humble. We are doing part of that.
Oh, absolutely. We are so excited to be part of the KGRA family now. So many amazing shows that are up on the KGRA website. If you go to kgradb.com, you can see all the amazing hosts or all the shows that are there, and they do have. And if you want to subscribe, they've got you got a choice between a monthly or a yearly subscription, and you can always sign up and you can check out. We have our very own promo code. It is ParaVoice, and that gets you 30% off either your monthly or your yearly subscription. So go over to KGRA, support a fantastic streaming place for a lot of great shows. You get the Paranormal Sweetheart, Andrea Perrin's on there. You get the amazing Devin R.J. DeRoos from the UFO Contact Convention. You got John E.L. Tunney, who is up there. Like I said, Mike Rick Sector. Yeah, a lot of amazing parapeeps that are all up there as well.
Dale, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Someone's saying there's a sound coming from your mic. I can hear it too. Do you have a fan on or something?
Oh, let me see here. Oh, maybe it's that could possibly be. Just give me 1 sec. So, Michael, take it away.
Here of business here, folks. And while he's taking care, I'm going to watch my cats fight off to the side. I had one. She just got fixed. Neutered, showing around the cone on her head, so the other cat doesn't recognize her. So we got a little bit of battle going on. I wish, speaking of demons to lean on, folks, I wish a couple of the demons would come and act like referees and break these two up. Let me tell you. Oh, my God. Look, speaking of the Reverend Tim Shaw, there he is, the Reverend Timothy Shaw, saying hello in all his splendid glory. Thank you, Timothy. Mr. Tim, yes. That poor guy gets more messages from me about nonsense all the time. He probably looks at my name and goes, oh, God, ignore, every time I'm sending him stuff. Anyways, love you, Tim. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, a very good friend, but also a mentor to us, Timothy Shaw. We are very lucky to have him in our lives for sure. Brian Ufford, my man, he's there. Thank you for letting us know. Brian Ufford, I've known 6 lifetimes at this point. Jenny Davis from Unturned Pages. How you doing, girl? She says she can't really hear me. You can't hear me? Can everybody else hear me?
I hear you. How about now? I feel like I feel like I'm in a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? How about now?
Right.
See, that's funny. 2 weeks ago it was my microphone. Now it's your microphone.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so we're waiting, like I said, we're waiting on our, thanks, Brian. So now we're waiting on Mr. Ray Goosby from the Cryptic, Paranormal show, one of the co-hosts. A great show. If you haven't heard that already, you haven't tuned in to the Cryptic Paranormal show, you got to get it done. You got to take care of business and listen to them. They talk about every topic from A to Z, ladies and gentlemen.
You're talking in a tunnel. Sweet. Yeah, also, don't forget, coming up, folks, this coming March, I believe it's March 4th and 5th, we are doing our first event of the year, which is one of our favorites, Pooches for Potographs, or Potographs for Pooches.
Potographs for Pooches.
Potographs for Pooches, with the amazing Tim Malley and his lovely girlfriend, Lauren? I can't remember her last name, but yes, they're so we can't wait till March. So, folks, if you've never experienced one of these events, it is absolutely amazing because not only do you get a day of listening to some amazing speakers, and just give me 1 sec, folks, and I will pull it up. But yeah, also all the money that is raised, part of this event, it goes towards local animal shelters. So yeah, come on down, support a great cause, as well as be able to hang out with some amazing people. Let me see here. Oh, there it is right there, folks.
Hello,
let me. Oh, man, I was not with it today.
And everybody else, by the way, the high side.
Okay. Oh, high side. Okay, so, of course, we have the amazing Mr. Dustin Perry, who's making his appearance. One of the amazing guys. We have Heather.
In itself.
We have the lovely Heather Taddy from Paranormal State. Mm-hmm. We have, we just talked about her, the lovely Deb DeRoos is going to be there.
Mama Deb.
We have 2 of the amazing guys, of course, organizers of the MI Paracon, Mr. Brad Blair and Tim Ellis is going to be there. They have Richard Estep, who is an amazing author.
Great speaker as well.
Daniel Class, part of the owner of the Hinsdale House, is going to be there.
That guy's busier. I don't know what. You can't compare. That guy doesn't stop. Every time you're on Facebook newsfeed, he's doing something. He's got another new T-shirt. He's got something going on at the Hinsdale House. He's got a magazine in his hand. He's doing something. Daniel Class, wishing somebody happy birthday. Oh my God.
John Tunney's going to be there. We have.
Tenny. Oh my God.
We have.
Absolutely. Talked to him finally after a couple years. I don't know why, but that guy intimidated me, scared the hell out of me. I was like a fanboy, but I didn't want to go talk to him because I was afraid of him and intimidated. And then finally, at the UFO Contact Convention in Houghton Lake, Michigan, where we've been really fortunate to be a part of the last couple of years now, I had a chance to talk to him at the after party. What a cool dude. Very approachable. You know, loves his ghosty stories, man. Whatever it is, however that resonates with you, whatever your experience is, he loves to hear about it, man. He's a genuine guy. I can't say enough good things about Johnny Alteni. And a speaker, forget about it. That guy's aces high when it comes to speakers. That's a guy. I mean, never tells the same story twice. Never even he uses the same quotations twice. He uses the same sentence twice. Oh my God, he's that good. He's that good. Not spreading cheeks, just saying it like it is.
Absolutely. Also, the very lovely Dana Stricker is going to be there. One of our favorites.
Love Dana.
And, of course, 2 good friends of ours, Traveler Moon's very own, Chris and Kelly are going to be there. So look forward to hanging out with those peeps. So, yeah, no, an absolutely amazing event. So, folks, once again, that is March. I'm sorry, I had my dates wrong. 8th to 9th.
March 9th, yes.
March 8th to 9th in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So if you're in the area or would love to attend an amazing event, go to Pooches for Photographs. You can find them on Facebook. Their website is eluding me right now. So yes, no, Jenny Davis, great. Can't wait to see you there. Good.
You better give us a big hug, girl. Big hug.
But yeah.
This time.
Yeah, no body slamming Mike this time. But yeah. But yeah, no. So that's one of our favorite events. That's the first one that's coming up, and then of course in April or March, April. Yes, we are going to be back with Exie Suzanne Smith and the lovely Candace Isaacson at their event is at the Soul Mind and Body event that's up in Oxford, Michigan. So we are going to be there. I don't have the dates at the top of my head right now, but folks, so hopefully you'll join us. So that's just a couple of places, and of course we are making our big debut, our speaking debut, up at the Lake Superior Paracon up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, with, of course, your hosts, the lovely Lucky Paranormal with Gail and Kim Willis. So,
good ladies right there.
So check out that Paracon. It's brand new. It's day one. Let's show these ladies some awful support. Show the support for the Lake Superior Paracon up in Thunder Bay, Ontario. That is October 4th and 5th. So anybody that lives up that way or wants to check out an amazing event right here in Canada, right in our doorstep, up the bend around the way a little bit. But yeah, it is Thunder Bay, Ontario. It is going to be an amazing time. Hello, Future Ghost Paranormal of New Jersey. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Hello, Facebook user. I can't see who you are, but hello. But yeah, so yeah, check that out. LakesSuperiorParacon.com, I believe, is the website. Or just go over to Lucky Paranormal's Facebook page. You can find out all the details. We're going to be there. We are making our debut speaking event, so we hope to see everybody there. Come on down and cheer us on as we get to talk about, hey, what brought us into the paranormal? And, well, we're not going to say yes, but we got something amazing that we're going to talk about at that time. So, Michael John, you messaged me this morning with such an amazing interaction that you had. You gotta tell the audience, because I was blown away by this.
Okay, well, because I don't want to reveal too much, because I'm actually going to use that in a lot of the stories from this particular piece that I've acquired in my next book. Tim Shaw, I've been sending Tim Shaw and yourself messages every time something happens, every time something goes bump, and that I acquired an object. That's all I'm going to say right now. And there was a history behind it, but you get a lot of objects. I mean, I know about the rest of you out there. I'm sure you might get an object where someone says, "Hey, this is haunted," and you're like, "Yeah, okay, all right, yeah, sure, I'll take it, whatever." I mean, I'm not discounting anybody's stories, but you got to find out for yourself, right? End of story. So I've had a few things happen to the point I had to get some holy water out and dumb it down, and then things have been good. So I had an instance. I'll say this much. I have a little radio that I keep in my bathroom for when I'm having a shower. I plug it into the wall and I play it. Now, normally I keep the bathroom door open so the cats can come in because they like to hang out when I'm showering. It's what cats do. Now, this time I shut the door because I was scrubbing the toilet and the sink and all that, using chemicals. I didn't want the cats coming in. So I shut the door and I forgot about it. I had my shower radios going, and I went to go shut the shower water off. And the music stopped. And I was like, oh my God, are the cats here? I opened the shower curtain, there's no cats. I look over at the radio and it's unplugged and the cord is on the counter. Now, maybe I plugged it in haphazardly. I wasn't paying attention. Who knows? Let's go there. Let's look at plausible and possible things before we say it's paranormal. Just an odd happen. So now, what happened last night, going to what Dale was asking me to talk about. I was lying in bed. So my bed, the way I'm lying, faces my bedroom door, which would be to my left. And I'm looking out. Well, I was looking. I was on my phone. I was looking at Reels or whatever that goes on YouTube or something, one of those things. And out of my peripheral, as fast as I can tell you, probably faster, I saw a shadow figure come in, and then zip. I have a mirror right there by the entranceway, which is actually across from another mirror because I like to challenge things and see if they'll ever open the portal because I've been told that happens. So I don't know. So this is interesting. So the shadow figure, it zipped around and then went right in. I saw it out of my peripheral go into the mirror. And I'm not sure if it had horns or if it had pointed ears like it was a dog man. I don't know. Before I realized, you know, how a lot of things happen, you're like, did that just happen? So then I was just like, thank you. I saw you. And then I got really bad chills. And then doesn't the light in my hallway outside of my bedroom start flickering? And then it made me recall what happened a few days prior. I'm vacuuming out here in the living room area. I got the vacuum plugged into the wall. And all of a sudden the vacuum stopped because the plug is out of the wall and it's on the floor. So anyway, so that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, also, don't forget, folks, Michael John does have a book out on Amazon, on all Amazon platforms. So, hey, get over there, check out his book. I just finished reading it the other day. And my God, dude, what an amazing job you did. Like, I'm not just saying that because obviously I'm your best friend and I'm supposed to say nice stuff because you pay me lots of money, dude.
Oh, yeah.
But no, seriously, though, it was an amazing book. I enjoyed it so much, and I love the way you finished the book. Like, the last chapter, the last paragraph, I mean, it was just like, it was like almost leaving me with a cliffhanger. So it was, I loved it. It was amazing. It was very well written, very well put together. I loved it. The pictures are great. But yeah, no. So folks, check out his book. It's called Michael John's Ghost Stories with your host or your author, Michael John. So pick that up, go over to Amazon, check it out. And, or if you're at one of the events we're going to be at, we're going to have some of his books at some of our events. So definitely pick up a copy. He'll be more than happy to sign it for you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Candace. We were just talking about you. So good to see you here.
Candace. Thank you.
We can't wait to be at your event up in April. Just can't remember the date if you can help us out.
Yes, please throw the date up there. Any website information, everything, Candace, if you could, in the comments for everybody watching us and listening later on. We'll say it out loud, give it a shout out, of course. So now, since we're on the topic of shadow figures, let's just continue on. I mean, hey, the show must go on. So
absolutely.
Now, shadow figures. I mean, anybody out there listening? Hello, Jennifer. How are you? Mwah. Good to see you. Tell Rob hello as well. Give him a big hug for me and pinch him on the bum. I think our guest is here, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like he's there down below.
Hey, we'll let him catch his breath first.
All right.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, guys. So come on down, check us out. But Oxford, Michigan. I know it's in April. Once Candace can throw something up there with a date and hopefully a website, Candace, if you possibly can.
Or Candace, or maybe you know what Candace did. She said, "Hello, guys," shared, and she dove out the window after she did that. She's like, "I'm gone."
I'm out of here. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. I'm sure people are tired of hearing us talk. Let's bring out the man that everybody wants to talk to besides us.
Hold on, we got to give him a proper introduction, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, it wouldn't be us if we did do it. So I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna let you talk.
All right, here we go, rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sitting around. Like I said, I was having coffee with my Demon's Dale. You know what? We had a couple shots of apple cider vinegar each. We're getting fired up for tonight. Could not believe it. I had to go have a cold shower. When I was done, I'm running around in my towel. I'm like, I want to dance. So I grabbed a couple skeletons out of my closet. I began dancing. And I was like, oh, my God. Oh, shit. Tonight's the night. I couldn't believe it. We have with us, he is the baddest of the bad, ladies and gentlemen. You want to talk about a demon to lean on? I'm telling you, this guy's our next guest. This guy's been searching for answers to the paranormal questions, no less, since he was 13 years old. I love it. He's one of the co-hosts of the Cryptic Paranormal Show. If this guy tells you to shut up, God damn it, it's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, the man your mother always warned you about, Ray the Gooster, that's what I call him, Goosby.
Shut up.
All right, show's done. We've got it.
There he is.
What's up, Jenny?
How's it going, brother? It's good to see you.
Good, thanks. I apologize for getting on so late. My daughter was kicking some major ass at the spelling bee, ran into the overtime, and she took home the win. So
sweet.
Congratulations to her.
Well, let's bring some of that mojo over to the Lions because I think they're going to need it this weekend.
There you go. Yeah, I'm rooting for them. Now that the Brownies are done,
That's right. Real quick, sorry, Neil. So Candace, she got back to us. So the event we will be at is called the Body, Mind, and Spirit Spring Fling. That's April 20th, 2024. Okay, at 1:30. Take my glasses off to read. Does that make sense? Drainer Road in Oxford, Michigan, folks. Thank you, Candace, very much. The lovely Candace Isaacson and XE Susan Bruce Smith will be running that. What a great event. Very intimate. You know what I mean? You're going to love it. If you want to get to a little quieter event, a little, a lot less people kind of a thing, but way more intimate, you get more time to talk with people and get to know them and engage and share your own, your own paranormal love, if you will. This is the place to go for sure. Thank you, Candace, very much.
Absolutely. So Gooz, it's so good to see you, man. So we just gotta get down to the brass tacks and of all this, just to we like to teach people something. I don't know what, but we like to teach people something. So what got you into the paranormal? What was your first big thing to go, wow?
As cliche as it sounds, man, I grew up in a house that was, we moved to a house. I didn't grow up in it. I grew up in it, but it wasn't the first house we moved into. Anyways, we moved into this house when I was about 10 years old. There was the people that owned it. They were selling it privately. They told us right away, listen, our both of our kids were killed in a car accident. So, so there was already that with that story with the house when we got. And just as we lived there, my brother and I started noticing things. I mean, he was 5, I was 10. We were little kids. Just started noticing things happening around the house. Like things would just fall off the shelf with no reason. Just weird things. Like when we were left alone or like we were in a room by ourselves, you just had that feeling that somebody's always watching you. You know what I mean? There's like this weird energy. There's several times actually, where I just like realize it's dark and I'm in the other side of the house and the rest of my family's in the other side of the house. And I'm like, oh shit. And I just get that fear and just run. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Like what's going on? Because at the time, and I love my parents to death. But we were involved with a church that, you just didn't talk about that kind of stuff. And if you did, you were either crazy or they dragged you up in front of the congregation and like prayed for you and made you like the target of like basically you were possessed by a demon, that type of thing. So you just didn't talk about it. So I didn't have anybody to go and talk to. So I just started reading. I'm like 11, 12 years old at this point, and I'm reading these big, thick Hans Holzer's books, Yeah,
the Hans.
Most kids like my age are like reading like comic books under their covers with a flashlight, or most normal kids, boys my age, were looking at Playboys or whatever.
What is that? I've never heard of that. What is that?
I was under there with like Hans Holzer books and Lloyd Auerbach and all these like well-known paranormal investigators, parapsychologists, whatever. And it just, it affected my brother to the point where he was like afraid. He was just had the fear bad. There would be nights where I would wake up and he'd be on the floor, like almost half under my bed, camped out in his like sleeping bag, and he just camped out. That scared the shit out of me more than anything, because you step out to bed 2:00 in the morning, go to the bathroom, and there's this body laying on the floor in the dark. Okay, so that made me jump. But it all kind of culminated. Actually, I had left. I went to college, and I came back, and I found out why my brother was so freaked out all the time at night, because he took over my room when I moved out, and when I came back, I moved into his room because it was just a temporary thing. And this one night, I woke up, these two looming shadows over me, and I had that feeling of being pressed down to the bed. In hindsight, it didn't feel like a malicious. It was more like just observation. Like they were just looking at me. But I could tell from the shadows, one was a male. The other one kind of had like flowing hair. I couldn't see their faces or like body parts. It was just the outside figure shadow. And again, I went back to reading and doing things. My brother eventually got into like techno music, and he started like downloading all these EVP voices that he was catching that people were posting and like putting them into his music. So that's kind of how he went and dealt with it. So years and years later, I'm actually with my wife. I was like living with my wife, who was my fiance at the time, and we're watching Ghost Hunters. Okay, and I haven't really done much with it besides read books and maybe watch the occasional show. And then there's Ghost Hunters that just started, and they're helping people. They're like doing this. They're going to locations. I'm like, I didn't know you could actually just, a normal guy who was interested in the paranormal could go to a location and investigate and like learn and research. That's how it started, man. I just, friends of mine at work that I used to work with were like, hey, let's go to, I think it was Mansfield Reformatory was the first place I went to. You know, it was the big public hunt, but that place is so massive. You guys have been there, I'm sure. That even with that big of a group, you could easily be in an area of that place by yourself and not really have too many people to walk around and deal with. But that's the first time during the first investigation, I actually saw a dark figure of a man with a hat, looked like one of those prison style hats that was like the flat top hat.
Yeah.
You know, and he walked across a room that I was in.
Wow.
And I just got that adrenaline, man. It just went poof.
Yeah,
took over my body, and I was it was like hook, line, and sinker. Like not only is this something that I need to do for myself to find answers that I need, this is like an adrenaline rush. And I'm like, it is thrilling, and I'm not afraid to say that. A lot of people are like, it's okay, it's not, you can't do this if you're just thrill seeking, but that's part of it.
Absolutely.
You work hard, you work hard, you research, you investigate. A lot of nights you're sitting just waiting for something to happen, trying to get something, and it doesn't happen. You go home with maybe a footstep or something. Right. Because though, that minute comes where you make that connection with spirit, and it's like, oh, yes, finally. It's just like, yes. And you start accumulating. Yeah, you start accumulating the answers, and it became an obsession almost. You know what I mean? And then just from that point, you can't just stop with ghosts. You'd start reading you getting into the cryptos, and you start getting into UFOlogy and stuff like that. And it's just, now you're in this X-File world, and you love it. You just read everything, try to absorb all the knowledge, everybody else's experiences around you. I'm always be learning, always listen to people with an open mind, because you never know when you can make a connection with somebody that's like, I had that same experience. Now it makes sense. And it's something you didn't think about before.
Yeah, because it resonates with you when you hear a thing or two from someone. And I can't agree more. It's the adrenaline rush that we get addicted to. It's like fishing in a sense. I compare it to fishing. Not that I've done fishing in years, but you're patiently waiting, and then all of a sudden you get that bite, and it's like, oh my God,
Right. Yeah.
It's
addictive, man.
Oh, and I mean, with me, I find that certain locations are more addicting than others. I don't know why it is that way, but it's like the first time I went to OSR, I don't know what it was about the place. I mean, it took me forever to walk inside there, because I think for the first 30 minutes, I was just in awe that I was standing in front of this massive building. Right. And you're just like, really? This is a prison? Like, this has been known as like blood prison, and it's amazing. And you're standing there, and it's just like once you get inside, it just sucks you in. And I've been to a lot of locations like that, and I find like there's certain connections with certain places you go, and you just feel more comfortable than others. And that's one thing I've always wondered about is why do you go to a location but feel totally comfortable with where it is? Like it almost feels like familiar.
Yeah I completely understand that. I mean, there are places, I guess my top place like that is probably Madison Seminary. So I've just been going there for years. You know, the original owners I was friends with. That's up in Lake County. It's actually in Madison, Ohio.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's up towards the lake. It's one of Adam Kimmel's his locations that he owns and runs. But you know, the original owner let us in, and we used to run ghost hunts for him and just give him all the money and stuff like that. And you know, I don't know really where the money that we raised went into the building, because it was just continuously falling apart, and it was getting really sad. Oof. And then our friend Adam Kimmel, who's he has his own document series called Resident Undead. He purchased the building and just leaps and bounds. So different. He cleaned out all the old. It's like a living museum now, and they give flashlight tours. They'll give people just straight historical tours. But there's always been you just have that connection with the place. And it's familiar. It's like you have a rapport with the spirits that you know are there. Yeah. And every once in a while, you get this crazy, like, out of the blue, crazy experience that you can't explain. Sometimes not the friendliest, but, you know, it happens. And, right. But yeah, that's just a place that, like, if I think of a place I want to go to, that's always the first one on my list. Like, even though I've been there a million times, I want to go back there, you know?
So, Ray, you've been investigating, what is it, 20 years now? Am I right on that?
Yeah, I lost count, man.
Okay.
that's not counting all those years that I just read under the covers.
So, you know, it's safe to say you've seen a thing or two. You've experienced a thing or two. You've lived when it comes to the paranormal experiences, mm-hmm. right? So I got to ask you, and we ask this of all our guests, of course, your creepiest, freakiest, weirdest experience, best you can come up with off the top of your melon, brother. What is it?
Yeah. Please. Oh, well, I was already talking about Madison Seminary. I'll just continue with Madison Seminary. So Madison Seminary, at one point, the top floor on the Ohio Cottage side, there's two separate sides, and it's connected in the middle by like a hallway. Okay. There's the original side, which is like built during the Civil War, and then there's a hallway in the middle. That's kind of the modern area where that's where everybody meets for groups and stuff like that. Then there's what they call the Ohio Cottage. That was built to like home. It was basically a home for the elderly at one point. Later in its history, but it was home. But the top floor, apparently, from what we've been told, was more mental patients type thing. So there's definitely a different feel when you walk up onto that floor. And one thing we've learned about Madison is it reciprocates whatever kind of energy you're putting out right back at you. Okay. And it's not necessarily, I'm never going to use the word, the D word when it comes to that kind of stuff. Right. Or say I was possessed or anything like that. But it was earlier on in my public investigation guiding career. And, you know, you have this big group of people that have never investigated before. They're looking at you to like you're a circus clown, just there to like get things going and just, you know, keep everybody entertained. They start getting bored. They don't understand that like 90% of what we do is observation. Right. And, you know, basically talking to ourselves in the dark until we get that connection and that return, you know, we start getting that conversation. And I was getting nerve-wracked because people were like, I started people hearing like in the background whispering to each other, "Oh, we paid for this and there's nothing going on. This is bullshit." You know, it was affecting me because I know this place is active. Yeah. So like an idiot, I start poking the bear and I start acting like an asshole, telling the spirits what to do, you know, dropping bad words left and right. And then next thing I know, I'm in the hallway where the stairwell is that led up to that floor, not realizing that I had started being extremely violent verbally. And then I actually threw a punch at somebody that was next to me. It was actually one of my teammates, and thank God it was a teammate, not a guest. But still, it's bad either way. And I had blacked out; like I had no idea what had happened. Yeah. So obviously, people are like, "Oh my God, he's possessed," and all this shit. I'm like, "You don't understand how this works."
Right.
All right. I was putting out negative energy because I was feeling it. I was getting emotionally invested in making sure you guys felt like you were getting the reactions and having the time that you wanted, which got me amped up, and I started being an asshole, which I always tell everybody, don't be an asshole. And that energy got soaked into me because, like I said, it reciprocates. You go up there and you start dropping F-bombs and being an asshole. Before you know it, you're that asshole. You are whatever that negative energy is, and it just, you absorb it, and then it takes you over, and you don't think, it's a dark cloud. Just a dark cloud comes over you. That's happened in another room, but that's probably my craziest experience. But that's when I learned that you definitely have to be on your guard, and especially in buildings like that and like OSR, anywhere, anything that had anything negative attached to it, you have to be careful. You don't go poking the bear. It's just, it was a lesson learned early on, and I don't do it again. And I warn people when they go up there, like, just be chill. Be mindful. Think of, they are human just like you are. Treat them like you would want to be treated. Plain and simple.
And it's interesting what you say, how all of a sudden something takes over you. And no, I'm like you. I don't acknowledge the word demon. Come a long way from that level and possession and that. I mean, some people, to each their own. This is my opinion. Okay.
Yep.
But like you're saying, though, what's interesting is sometimes it can take you over in a sense. You start doing things you wouldn't normally do, and you don't even realize, like, what the hell's going on? You get influenced sometimes, right? I love that you touched on that. Yeah. And it's funny, I've just recently started hearing about this. Other people on other, like maybe on a YouTube video or something, they're talking about exactly that. So thank you for bringing it up. That is a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't realize it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like even like haunted objects, you get stuff. I was talking about something I have here in my home earlier while we were waiting for you to show up. Oh yeah, it's haunted. Yeah. Okay, I'll take it. Sure, of course. And then Stranger Things, poor Tim Shaw. I've blown his inbox up so much with things. I 8 times, and Gooz, I tell you, brother, I had to get out. I have Dale and I don't know if you know who Bishop Plato is, but we were lucky enough to witness. He brought us along as helpers for an exorcism just on the outskirts of Windsor, where we live. So he gave us a gift package of exorcism blessed salt, oil, and water. So I've kept that in my closet. And I brought out the water, dude, and I splashed it on that item I have, as well as my cats, and I put it on my door. And I'm not a God guy. I'm not.
Right.
But it's dumbed it down anyways. But certain things, like even my thought process here on a couple things, is like, whoa, why am I thinking like that? You know what I mean? Just getting the depression kicking in all of a sudden and saying negative thoughts about me. Anyways, I mean, Dale, what are your thoughts on that?
No, for sure. And I know a lot of locations, and with me, I mean, I've been at several locations. We'll take the Hinsdale as one example. Being in there, and you do absorb whatever's happening in there. And for the first time in my life, I actually felt like I really wanted to kill everybody that was in the house with me. Wow. And that's not like me. Anybody who knows me, I'm the big, gentle teddy bear.
Usually.
Wouldn't even hurt a wet paper bag. But here I was, and I was like, everybody I looked at, I'm like, man, I just, for some reason, I just want to kill you. And I had to leave the house. I had to go outside. It was like, it absorbed. I don't know what, how, where, but it was the most craziest feeling. Because it's like you could, your mind's going, wait, what are you doing? This is not you. But at the same time, you are You're experiencing things that you've never experienced before. So, and I mean, a lot of people outside of what we do, these people that go on these public events and stuff like that, because they want to see what it is to be like a paranormal investigator. But a lot of them come to these events expecting things to happen. And I've been a part of a lot of public events, and I tell people, ghosts don't work on demand. I wish to God that they did, but they don't work on demand. You come in here, you have the right intentions, you set out the right attitudes, and I find like you get into an investigation with the right group of people, with the right intentions and the right energy, and you will have amazing results. Like when we did OSR back in November, I brought 15 of who I felt was some of the best investigators I knew. I had Tim Shaw there, I had Frank, I had Heather, who is owner of the Western Block in Lockport, New York. I had Brandy from Blonde and Booze there, and she brought 3 friends that she's... but you know what? The energy between us all, and we all left there with an amazing experience. And OSR was not... Like, Kathy and Greg are amazing people as well.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, like we did a reenactment there. We had Frank, who is a former corrections officer. So he wanted to do this whole role-playing thing. So yeah, we put him in handcuffs. We let him down the solitary confinement.
Wow.
And he was acting like a real prisoner. And the energy, like you could feel it in the air, just start amping up. And when we got to the area in the one of the solitudes there, we found a place. We put Frank in. We closed the door, and I'll tell you, it was like the temperature in that area dropped 15 degrees in seconds.
Wow.
It was so bad, like we were seeing our breath and everything. And then all of a sudden we just started, like Frank was just acting like a prisoner, and we were catching all kinds. Like it was the first time I ever heard a spirit box actually say, "We are going to effing kill you."
Wow.
Like it was threatening him. Like, get him. We're gonna kill you. And we were like, holy. But we were like, and at the same time, but it was it's what happens in a prison, right? These are the things that happen in a prison. So we were just acting like they do. And I'll tell you the results. Now, some people say it was provoking. I don't think it was provoking, because we were just doing what it was like to be in an actual prison.
Yeah.
So
there's a huge difference between provoking and reacting.
Right.
Huge difference.
So let's get your take. What is your thoughts on reenactments as far as provoking goes?
Two totally different things. I mean, provoking is just going in there and flexing your muscles and trying to have a violent interaction with spirit, and it's not good. It's not. I just, I don't agree with it at all. It's horrible. It's not a good thing. I wouldn't want somebody to come do that to me, to start coming yelling at me, telling me what to do, and saying if I don't do this, you're going to do this, and and it's not good. Reenactment is a trigger. It's like a trigger energy. You're reenacting. You're making something familiar happen to what they were used to. So and I did this at the old Licking County Jail, and it worked pretty well. I was just playing a jail warden, and I had like a stopwatch, but they used to do a count, and they had like a counter that they would click. They would go into each room and click, make sure like the head count was right. And so I go in and just say, just as a cell check, everybody in, lights out. I need to do the count, and I walk up and down the aisles, look in, click a couple times, and I just went about my business like I was working there. And we had 2 EMF detectors just go boom and just spike. And so I went back and I'm like, is there an issue here? Do we need to do a cell check? And I was calm. I was acting like, a calm, cool, collected prison guard. Like I wasn't starting shit with these guys. and that thing just kept responding to me. So it's like you're just playing an event that they're used to over again.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they're understanding where you're coming from because that's what they're used to. That was their interaction.
Right.
But it's a lot different than going in and say, listen, fucker, you do this and do that. And, it's...
Yeah. Either way, it's a trigger, right? You're triggering them with saying phrases they're familiar with or orders they're familiar with, or even dressing up if you can. You dress up in that time period. But real quick, I see that Debbie DeBus Markham's on there saying Gooz.
Yes.
I had to say, oh God, Debbie's here. Anyways.
Debbie. Love you, Debbie.
I love her to death, man. She's great. So Gooz, I want to ask you real quick here. I mean, in light of that, I mean, when we met you at the Old Mill Parafest in Dundee, Michigan, that's where we first met. And you vibe with your tribe. Instantly, we hit it off, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Beyond words, thank you, right?
Brother,
So now, you're an A to Z guy, like we're A to Z guys.
Yeah.
So I know, with your cryptids, I gotta go there. Oh my God. We got Bigfoot, we got Dogman, we got Goatman, we got Mothman.
Oh yeah, dude.
Chupacabra. What's your favorite one? And I'll go with you. Where are we going?
I mean, dude, I gotta stay with the local guy. I mean, the Ohio Grassman, which is basically just Ohio's version of the Sasquatch.
Okay, yes.
But Sasquatch in general. To me, that's like the most of all the cryptids, maybe besides like a Chupacabra type situation. That makes the most sense. I don't know. It's just something that I've always been attracted to, like as far as researching. Once I lose some more weight after the surgery I have coming up and I can get my knees back under me, I'm getting out in the field and I'm going to start like active like field investigation.
Okay.
But I think that's probably, well, first of all, that's the first kind of cryptid that I've actually think or feel that I've had an experience with.
Yes.
My buddies, they own a cabin that all of us buddies from high school that have stayed in contact. They own this cabin in Kane, Pennsylvania, which is a very dense. There's been a lot of reports of Sasquatch activity in this area. It's part of the Appalachian Trail. It's right in the Allegheny National Forest. So it's very deep woods, deeply wooded area. And but we were actually joking around the night before, like, oh, we should go Sasquatch hunting and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like saying, yeah, we should. Like, I'm like, we really should just go at least drive around on the 4-wheelers and see if we could track something.
Sure.
The night after that, all of a sudden, it was like a hailstorm. We started hearing like these stones and stuff being like thrown at the cabin and banging on the roof. Yeah. Like, what the hell is going on? And we walk out and there's nothing there. We can't see anything. But there's all these little rocks and stones and stuff laying around that something was throwing them at the roof. Okay. My mind goes directly to Sasquatch because it's a very common experience for people who camp in the woods, especially in areas like that, dense areas of people having experiences. That's something that they do, letting you know you're in their territory. You better be careful. You better be respectful. But it's just one of those things. Also, you can't. I have a hard time not believing in something that has such a deep, just a very enriched in like Native American history. Like, there's cave drawings of these things out there.
You're good.
You go to different tribes like all over the world. I mean, it's a worldwide thing, and there's cave drawings. There's books written about it. There's, explorers that were just trying to climb a mountain and they ran into this big hairy beast that looked like a man ape. It's just, there's so much history to this particular cryptid that there has to be something attached to it. And it's just, to me, it's the most fascinating.
Right. In comparison, so let's take Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
There's different names, but it's all the same, in my opinion, to a degree. Skinwalkers. Is there a correlation there, you think?
Well, skinwalkers, that is a very Native American mythos. When you think of
What does that mean?
skinwalkers,
Mythos. Sorry.
it's like a legend, a myth.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a thought process that's based on a myth.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, so like Native Americans, they're kind of the ones that have like it's like their shamanic people in their tribes had the ability to transform themselves into animals, or they would curse the land so somebody in human would turn into an animal. Yes, I mean in general, yeah, I mean anything could technically be a skinwalker. Usually skinwalkers are more connected to like werewolf type activity or like sightings. Like if you're looking at the ranch, I can't think of the name now.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Ranch. How can I not remember? We're actually talking about skinwalkers. But that there was a certain tribe out there that their name escapes me, but a certain tribe that had cursed the land because they were in some kind of battle with another tribe. And so they cursed the land, and there's a skinwalker basically that's a human warrior that can change into this wolf-like creature, and it attacks their cattle, and it does this. But Skinwalker Ranch is a whole nother thing though, because there's UFO activity, there's shit going on, there's ghosts everywhere. That's a weird place.
Oh yeah, I'd love to go there.
That's like my number one bucket list place to be able to explore and investigate.
Yes, please.
But yeah, it depends on what region you're talking about. Like if you're talking about Native American lore, sure, Bigfoot could be a type of skinwalker. It's basically a beast that's very humanoid like. I mean, it's walks upright, and it's to me it's like the missing link. It's like what. And we had Dustin Pari on our show, and he threw this thought at us that kind of was like, holy shit, one of those mind-blowing things. He's like, and we've talked about this before too, like time lapses, like different dimensions, the same time lapses where the past meets the present for like that split second, and you see something from the past. And he's like, what if when people have a contact with a Sasquatch, what if they're seeing what we used to be, what we used to be, in a million years ago or whatever. And for that one point in time, we're like, whoa, scare the shit out of each other. We both get defensive. I run and he dives at me. You know what I'm saying?
I was finally tall at some point. Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was an 8-foot male. All right, sweet. I had hair on my head. Amazing. Right. But yeah, that's the thing about cryptids, though, man. I mean, there's so many theories, and it's just so many rabbit holes you can jump down.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that Sasquatch is an alien life form, that they're basically Chewbacca's running around in the woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's sweet. And there's and people. We've had Tom Wortman, who is the regional director, the Ohio regional director of MUFON, on our show, and he actually himself, because he would go out and do field investigation on UFO reportings and stuff like that, because that's what they do. And he had a Bigfoot experience, and he had made contact with a Bigfoot while he was tracking a UFO. And the UFO experience happened right after what he witnessed as a Sasquatch disappearing into the woods. Then they saw the UFO raise out from behind the woods, and it disappeared. And we're talking about a guy who's like really deep into science.
Yeah.
So he's not like a guy that just drops these theories, It's like he said it was definitely something. I mean, he couldn't explain it. Yeah. He's like, and there's definitely a correlation. So it's just so many things. It gets confusing, and everything gets all jarbled up in your head when you start theorizing about these things. And I was on Andrea Perrin's show, and she said, like, at the end of the day, what do you think it is? And I'm like, there's 3 words that everybody's afraid to say, but I'm going to say it. I don't know.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
But that's why I keep looking into it, because I want to know. Will I ever know? Hell if I know. You know what I mean?
Well, Gooz doesn't know. The rest of the world doesn't know. I can guarantee that. But no, I mean to go along with your with the theory. Now, I just went through Ronnie LeBlanc's books, Monsterland, and a lot of his research that he did for that book. A lot of the witnesses that he talked to, like in the Massachusetts area, all said very similar things. What you just said, like people say they've claimed to see like a Bigfoot walk off a UFO.
Yeah.
And
What?
so, and you know, and it's also too. It was, you know, they always say like the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch, they are able to transform themselves into little balls of energy, and they always seem to be orange. So if you're walking through the woods and you see an orange glowing ball, I would suggest you run, because there's about to be a Bigfoot that's going to appear somewhere. But I mean, but yeah, no, the connection between the UFOs and the Bigfoots, are they one and the same? Like, yeah, we don't know, and yeah, would we like to find out? Absolutely, because you know what, it would just help put another piece of the puzzle. Are we all meant to know what the big grand picture is? Like I truly believe like everything in the paranormal is connected in some way or another. Like they've all got lines drawn to them. But I don't know. I don't think we'll ever truly find the answers until our time on this earth ends and our energy goes on, and then we'll know what happens and what the true story is. But then that makes me think about, okay, with all these EVPs we get and all these questions we've asked, how come they won't answer those questions for us?
Right. Don't know.
That's my food for thought. But
yeah, right.
But
maybe we're just not asking the right question.
You know what? And that is probably the key. Is, you know, you see these sci-fi wizardy war, like a Harry Potter type of movie. You have to ask the right questions in order to get the right answer. Right. So there we go. So how did you now take all this knowledge of the paranormal world and move it over to a podcast?
Get out of my head. I was going to ask something like that. I was going to say the Cryptic Paranormal Show. I love
the one thing I love about the paranormal community is we are a bunch of storytellers that like to talk to each other. Now, there are the assholes out there that think that they're the professionals and they know everything already, and their way is the only way, or it's the highway. I am completely opposite. I feel like I learn more from talking to other people and understanding other people's experiences, comparing them to mine. And I couldn't think of a better way to just get involved with a podcast. Like, and just talking to people. Like, we'll have people on that are just friends of ours. Sometimes it's just us, and we'll just go down rabbit holes ourselves. Sometimes we have amazing guests on. We've had Andrea Perrin, Dustin Pari. I mean, we've had some amazing guests. And it's just picking people's brains, man. It's so much fun. And we just like to have fun. You know, especially, you know, we used to originally, the way the show started was I was actually a guest on the show. And after the show was over for the night, my man Steve, who was running the show, and it was his show at first, he's like, dude, you got to be on the show. We had so much fun. It just, everything was natural. We just had a great conversation, and him and Laura just were like, listen, you got to be on the show. So I started just rolling it with the show. Then, you know, things happen. Laura had to leave the show, so it was just me and Steve for a while. And then my dude Heisenberg, Michael Bradley, started just showing up and hanging out and being on the show with us. Yeah, because that was just natural. He's my dark alley teammate. We've been investigating together for years. So that was natural for me to just invite him. Then Steve was going through some stuff and he had to back out of the show, but he's like, dude, he's like, this is my gift to you. You keep the show going. I want to see this thing grow. I know you can do it. It's yours. So he left the show in my hands.
Wow.
And we're originally like in an internet radio studio, which was fun. But then almost right after Steve left, the big COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we just didn't trust that we were paying this money, and we just didn't trust that they were actually, people were sanitizing the studio in between usage, like between the different shows. And it was kind of a gross studio anyways. It was just like this office in this old building that people were renting, and then COVID hit again anyways, so we're like social distancing, and then boom, StreamYard comes to save us. And we started using StreamYard, and we've just been rolling with that ever since. And then we added Denise as well. We had her on a couple times with like the rest of the Madison crew, and she's just like, I love this. And she's always felt like a sister to me from the first day I met her. So it's like, let's just do this and take it on. And we just love talking to people. We just like every show we learn something. We laugh like crazy.
Yep.
A lot of times we end up just talking about food and stupid stuff that have nothing to do with the paranormal, but people enjoy it because it's not scripted. It's like,
yes,
we call it back porch talk, was because at Madison there's this like back porch with like some tables and chairs and stuff, and we would sit out there while people were doing their investigation. And yeah, man, it's just like natural talking, and I just love talking to people, hearing their experiences. You learn, just keep learning. That's it. And the only way you do that is keep an open mind and talking to people. Just the natural thing.
Yes. I love that. So now, with you doing your investigations, I mean, do you cover a specific demographic, or will you go anywhere if someone says, hey, they reach out to you, we're going to get to that, how to do it. If someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I'm over here, 100 miles away, will you go there?
I mean, generally speaking, just because of time, job, family,
Sure.
that type of thing, I am sort of limited. I will do like states around Ohio. I'm pretty much open to anywhere in Ohio. It's got to be a pretty special thing for me to be able to like go like say New York or come up to where you guys live in Canada. It takes a lot of planning. Like I got to plan months ahead and make sure I can get up there. But in my mind's eye, I'm like, yeah, when I could start affording and have a little bit of extra vacation time, and there's definitely places that I would say if somebody said, hey, why don't you come up here and check this out with us? I'd be like, all right, I'll make it happen no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
generally speaking, there's so much in Ohio, just like in the Northeast Ohio area. We got Mansfield, we got all kinds of places. I have access to a historical society museum home, like the original historical home in the Shalersville, Ohio area where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
And we're the only team that's allowed in there. Every once in a while, we'll do like a public event just to raise money for the historical society. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places that I'd like to go, but Northeast Ohio, anywhere in Ohio, it's not boring. There's always somewhere I can go. Hey. Uh-oh. The cone of shame, huh?
Yeah. Sorry. Someone that can't see my cat Viper, she was just spayed or neutered. Sorry, a few days back, so she's feeling a little better. We got to keep the cone on. She jumped up into the scene. That's what we're talking about. For those just listening later.
Hey, man.
So Ray, anybody that wants your help specifically, I love this Ray Goosby guy. I want if I'm going to have anybody come and check on my place, I think something's going on. Not 100% sure. How do they reach out to you to make that happen?
Honestly, the easiest way is just to hit me up on my messenger on Facebook. I have emails, but we don't really have a website. And honestly, it's got to be a pretty. We tend not to really do the residentials anymore because we've been screwed too many times.
Jeez.
We've done a lot of investigations where we go and we ended up being just a party for those people. They want like a real life ghost adventures happening in their house while they sit around and drink and watch us ghost hunt. And it just was not.
Yeah.
Right. It got old really quick. And, it's just
too bad.
People don't want to hear what you have to say if it's not paranormal.
Right.
They don't want the opposite of what they think is happening.
Sure.
For instance, we had this one case. This girl called out. She was really sick. she was feel like she was being oppressed by some kind of spirit or some kind of, she was calling it a demon. I'm like, okay. And I straight up asked her, I'm like, how many episodes of Ghost Adventures have you watched? And she's like, I watch it all the time. I'm like, okay, that's your first problem. And I'm sorry, but and she laughed. I mean, she took it well, and she was very open to what we were saying.
Good.
It was her father that was giving us shit. So we went out there and, we're doing what we do. We go out and we get the basic readings. We're using EMF detectors, the high quality ones, to do what they were built originally for, which is find high EMF readings and figuring out why that they're there.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10 in a residential case, it's because there's wiring that's not grounded correctly, or it's not insulated correctly, or, I have all this shit happening when I'm asleep in bed. Well, you have a flat screen TV right at the foot of your bed. You have an alarm clock right next to your head. You have a ceiling fan right above you. That's like a fear cage right there. That's naturally produced EMF, and then you have it right around you the whole time.
Right.
This is why it's happening. But with this case, like, her room was at the end of the house, so we're just doing our search. They allowed us anywhere we wanted to in the house. We were down in the basement. There was this huge crawl space that seemed to go all the way the length of the house. There's a bunch of conduit that was going down that way. We found an EMF spike in that area running off the conduit that was just off the charts. And we're like, okay, this has to be this electrical wiring. There's no other way this should be. And it's like, the closer you got to the conduit, the more off the charts this EMF reading was going. I'm like, okay. So we had to figure it out. So we're like, okay, that's at the end of the house. Let's go outside and see what this is all connected to. It was a hot tub. Okay. Now we're looking at where the hot tub is. It's located right outside the window of this girl's bedroom, and her bed was right on the other side of the window. So she has this hot wire going all the way through her room outside, and really hot outside her window. So she's being affected by this high EMF. She already has she had already had some form of autoimmune disease that she was fighting. So that already made her very sensitive to just natural things. Weather could cause her to have adverse effects with what she was fighting. So she's going to feel this more than most people. I mean, studies have been done that people with autoimmune disease are more sensitive to these things. So we tell the father, and he was about to kick us out. He didn't want to hear, because he ran the electrical himself.
Right.
So his pride was hurt. He didn't want to accept the fact that he fucked up.
Yeah.
And now his kid was being affected by it.
Right.
And that poor girl was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. He's like, you get the hell out of my house. I ran this electrical. You're telling me what I didn't know what I did.
Right.
And I know I did it right. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. So he walked out. I kept in touch with the girl and her mother. They became friends. They thanked me, but he was like,
right.
So it's like, you know what? I will do this if I know the people personally. Yeah. Or if they come recommended to me by somebody that I trust. Like, if you guys sent something to me, hey, there's these people that we know in Cleveland that we trust, that they're having issues, or they have a location that they own and they're having issues.
Yep.
I'd be all on board. I grab the team and we get up there. But generally speaking, most emails I do, if I get emails for residential cases in my area, I do a very in-depth vetting process. There's interviews, there's email interactions. I will do 3 or 4 different interviews before I even go to the location.
Yeah.
And most of the time, if you send me an email, you don't punctuate right, you don't spell things correctly, you give me a 3-page email that's all run-on sentence, one sentence in a row, I'm sorry. I mean, I may sound like an asshole, but I don't, I'm sorry. You got to present it to me in a way that I think that you have some kind of intelligence of what you're telling me. That makes me looks like a jerk, but it's my time.
Not at all.
It's my time, and it's my team's time, and it's I don't know. But that's my thought on residentials. But like you said, if you guys sent me a case, like, we know these people, they live in Cleveland or wherever in my area, they need help right now, I would do it in a second. No questions asked.
And I feel that way too. If somebody comes to me highly recommended by somebody I can trust, by all means, it's like, yeah, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Yeah. But, getting back to your points of, you know what, a lot of people don't realize that just stuff that runs in your house can cause you to have illusions of other things that are happening, right? Like high EMF detection in your house. Yeah. People don't know what that effect is on a human.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, and people just want to chalk it up to say, well, it's got to be something paranormal. No, it doesn't, because you have to go through a lot of what's going on in your house. Like if you've got old radiators, if you got lead pipes, if you got cracks in your windows, if it's an old house, so it's like constantly creaks. So it's nothing paranormal whatsoever. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not paranormal.
That's why it's so important to like do your due diligence when you do your interview with these people, and always do, if you get to the point where you're going to do a walkthrough, you have to look for those things. There's things that you could visibly see before you even pop out an instrument to try to measure things. Not that people really use them anymore, but people don't understand how much EMF that like clock radios used to give off.
Really?
It's a tremendous amount, and people would put them right by their head. Think about it. You're sleeping, you want to be in reach to just shut it off or hit snooze or whatever. That thing puts out so much EMF.
Oh my God.
Right.
I've measured people that have put in like light fixtures. Ceiling fans are huge EMF emitters just by themselves, even if they're wired correctly. You'll get a spike right over somebody's bed. Like people put all this shit by their bed, and it's especially like with this case with this girl in the residential, she had the autoimmune disease, so she was already affected by everything in her environment. So another case, same thing. They literally had like a TV stand right at the foot of their bed with like their PlayStation and all this shit hooked to it. I'm like, that's electrical stuff that's running through there. It's plugged into the wall right by your head. It's right. I mean, come on. You can't do that. I'm not saying you can't put a TV in your bed, but put it across the room. Don't attach it to your bed and plug it in right behind you. It's people. People don't understand how that affects the mind. I mean, studies have been done, like non-paranormal, like real life studies.
Yeah, right. That's amazing. I wouldn't have known that. So again, like you say, we're always learning. On we go. So thank you. That's knowledge right there,
Gooz, we could sit here and spend probably another 4 hours with you, because you are so filled with knowledge, and we love hanging out with you even more. Because no, I mean, you know what? I mean, somebody who's been doing this as long as you have. I mean, I've been doing it. I mean, I've had paranormal experiences since I was 8, so I don't really call those like my investigation years. Like, really, I mean, I've only been investigating probably just about 15 years myself.
Yeah, that's still a long time, man. Still a long time.
So you learn a lot along the ways. Like I said, just like you, I love talking to people. I love hanging out. And I think that's the one thing I like about these conventions is not only do I get to hang out with people I call my friends and my parafamily, but the people that attend these events, like talking to them are like, they're so amazing. And you learn so much from just like everybody that goes to these events. So if anybody who's ever out there watching and you've not been to a paranormal convention, I highly recommend, if this is what you love and you're passionate about it, you're going to be in a building full of passionate people, and it's a place you can go and just be yourself. You don't have to worry about somebody calling you weird, because if somebody calls you weird at a paranormal convention, it is the highest compliment you'll ever get.
Absolutely. It's like, hey, what's up, weirdo? My brother, my sister, whatever. And then you come up to me and I'm like, hey, shut up.
That's right.
Right.
Ray, where can we catch your show?
We are on live every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. We use StreamYard, so we go through. We're actually part of the RU Media Network, Resident Undead Media Network. So you can follow RU Media Network on Facebook. You can follow my page, Ray Goosby, and then the Cryptic Paranormal Show page. It goes out to all those, and it also streams to the RU Media YouTube channel. But I mean, most of our people are on Facebook. Every Thursday night, actually this weekend or this week coming up tomorrow night, we have Thursday night. Lauren Hellickson is going to be on. And
what a sweetheart. We love her.
Yeah, another person that we met at a convention. We met her at MadCon last year.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Proud to call her a friend, man. She's good people.
Yep. Can't wait to have her on, man. She's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, no, she is. You want to talk about somebody with a lot of knowledge about how equipment works? I mean, my God, we just had her on, and my God, I think I was like taking notes the whole time, going, "Oh, that's how that works."
Yeah.
Oh, now I understand. And, and that's another thing too. These people that go out there and they buy this ghost hunting equipment. And it's like, you don't even know how to use it, but yet you're saying that whatever's in this room, it's active. Well, how do you know? Because you're not using it. You got to know the equipment. So talking to somebody like Lauren, you learn so much on just how equipment is used and how it's supposed to perform, as well as what it's supposed to give you and what it truly means.
Right.
So yeah, no, very, very interesting, and I was so glad. I'll be tuning in Thursday night to learn more. I'll have my notebook ready.
Awesome, man! I appreciate that.
Like
it was like going to be at Autographs Parafest in March.
Absolutely.
I'll see you guys there.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Something else to look forward to. Someone else.
Yep, absolutely.
But Ray, no, I just want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for being a pair of brother to us, helping us out, talking to us. I know you've been a busy guy, and we look forward to seeing you at whatever conventions we get to see each other at. I know we'll be up. Well, we're doing Potographs, and then I'll be up at Ohio at the ParaSiteCon. I'm just attending. I'll just be attending. I'm not bringing the paranormal voice there. Just gonna go hang out with Tim and those guys, and get to see Katrina. I haven't seen Katrina in years, and I'm looking forward to seeing her again. So check out the Cryptic Paranormal Show. They're going to be at ParaSiteCon. Are you guys setting up a table at Potographs too?
Yeah, yep, we are. We'll be there doing our thing. We've been a part of that for like the last 2 years, so this will be our third year. We've got Tim Miley, a good friend of ours. We're probably going to get him on the show here pretty quick, because that's right around the corner. That's like the first weekend in March. So
yes,
coming up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Catch the Cryptic Paranormal Show every Thursday night right here on Facebook, YouTube. You'll find them all over the place. But Ray, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys so much.
That's right, folks. The Cryptic Paranormal Show. Ray Goosby and his co-host, of course. This guy, since the age of 13, under blankets, reading Hand Holzer books. Come on, you don't get more paranormal than that, folks. If this ain't a guy that you vibe with, something's wrong with you. That's all I gotta say. To everybody out there,
brother.
Our freaks and our weirdos that make up the TPV Nation. Thank you all so much for tuning in from day one to day now. Great guests like Ray Goosby, the Gooster, and so many more. Shut up, he says. I love it. If he says shut up to you, that's a good thing for sure. Everybody, we will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime and in between time, happy hauntings.
Thanks.
Spooky later.